Taoiseach, we're in unprecedented times, though. I listen to you, and do you know what? I see validity in what you're saying. But there does come a point. There comes a point when there's indiscriminate killing of civilians, where children are being murdered, where we know we have a dictator now who's pursuing a scorched earth policy. And we've always shown leadership in this country. And the Russian ambassador is a liar. He lied to the Irish people on multiple occasions. So we're in unprecedented territory with a regime that is acting in an absolute horrendous way. And there is no way on this earth, and it's not just domestically, that the Russian ambassador should stay in Ireland. What's the point in having diplomatic channels with somebody who lies? Can't trust him. If he said nothing, it would have been better. And President Zelensky has thrown down the gauntlet to the world. And I think collectively, you're right, at EU level, with our partners, we have to do everything we can, but we also do have to lead. So I'm asking you formally to withdraw our ambassador from Russia, because I believe we have to do that. And I also believe we have to expel the Russian ambassador. We must also condemn the actions of some of our own elected representatives in the European Parliament. Claire Daly and Mick Wallace do not speak for the Irish people. And as far as I'm concerned and the Labour Party is concerned, they have disgraced their mandate. By the way, there are a number of others who haven't covered themselves in glory either. On the humanitarian crisis, Taoiseach, I think you need to give guidance to the Irish people as to how best they can help. But also, my colleague here, Brendan Howlin, has asked if you would accelerate the passage of the Magnitsky Bill. You know what this does as regards to proceeds of crime. It gives CAB power to seize the assets of oligarchs, officials, or anyone involved in human rights abuses. Now, this would send a message to the world, Taoiseach, if we did that. Park the party politics. OK, it's our bill, but we'll work with you. We have 2 hours of private members' bill next week. We will give it over, if you will add to it, to do committee report stage. Now, that would send a message to the world. This piece of legislation is ready to go. We all support it, I would hope. We can make changes if you need to. However, will you please work with us to set aside time so we can implement it? So, Taoiseach, key questions. One, will you please, on behalf of the Irish people, taking everything into account, act and expel the Russian ambassador who is a liar? Two, will you please work with us to implement the Magnitsky Bill? And finally, will you give clear guidance? I'm organising and attending a protest in my home county on Friday. I'm giving guidance. Will you please give clear guidance to the Irish people as to how they can help our Ukrainian neighbours?
Could I first of all say that I hold very little time for the Russian ambassadors, and his performance to date and his presentations and what he's articulated on public television, or indeed for the Russian leadership, as I've made very, very clear in this House. And I understand fully the anger that people have towards Russia, the leadership and the Russian ambassador. Understand that fully. My primary concern is about Irish citizens and vulnerable Irish citizens. And earlier, I think that Deputy MacDonald was made a point about diplomacy and so forth. A charge d'affaires located here or somewhere else isn't going to do a whole lot. And let's be very honest with people about that. You cut off diplomatic relations, you cut them off. That's something that at European level, along with all the other measures that have been taken, has been discussed. But far greater things have already been decided upon. Bigger impact decisions have been taken by the European Union, with Ireland participating in terms of unprecedented economic sanctions against Russia, denying its own central bank access to its foreign reserves, excluding the majority of its critical banks from the SWIFT payments or mechanism, the decision in terms of trade and the undermining of the industrial base. These are unprecedented sanctions that have real teeth and real impact on the ground in terms of Russia's economic and industrial capacity into the future. And the issue will be to continue them and to continue with them, because they will have impacts. And we've got to hold the line in terms of those sanctions, in my view, for the longer haul, because President Putin has crossed the line here in terms of his appalling, barbaric attack on the Ukrainian people. And in my view, the European Union has, I think, surprised international opinion generally in terms of its remarkable solidarity among 27 member states, the unity of purpose, the speed with which it has worked with US, Canada and others to apply unprecedented sanctions against Russia, which is already having an immediate impact in terms of the Russian economy, with its currency crashing to record lows on foreign exchange markets, its purchasing power in international markets being significantly reduced, inflation in Russia rising significantly, the central bank hiking interest rates from 9 to 20% to prop up the currency, Russia's stock markets shut. That's the real meat in what Europe is doing with America, and need to do more if necessary. But I don't accept the basic premise that's been articulated here this morning, that Europe should split in different directions. Europe should stay solidly united in terms of its response to this issue. And in yesterday's discussion I had with the Prime Minister, there is a genuine desire for European Union membership on behalf of the Ukrainian government and for its application to be accelerated, which we support, and I've articulated that support. I didn't get to all your questions, but I might get back to them in the next. On the bill, I've already indicated to Deputy Howland that I'm very disposed. I'll have to talk to other ministers in terms of what we could have done in relation to that.
Taoiseach, the Russian ambassador is a liar. He's lied to the Irish people. His interview on RTE with David McCulloch will go down in history, the way he performed inside in this committee. We need to get rid of him. I accept what you're saying, and it's a valid argument. However, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you. There is ways in which we have been at different views with other European colleagues when it comes to how we've used funding. This is another one where I believe we should lead. I think the Irish people want us to lead. They don't want this man in this country. They don't want his colleagues in this country. They don't want military attaché in this country. Now, Taoiseach, I believe we should ask our Irish citizens to leave Russia as well. But I want to finally ask you, sincerely, on behalf of ourselves, but really genuinely, hopefully on behalf of everybody, this bill, right, the Proceeds of Crime Gross Human Rights Abuses Bill, drafted by my colleague Brendan Howlin, it would take 2 hours, probably, to go through the House, or a little more next week. We will give over our private members' time. We will ask members of the opposition and government to support it. We can put whatever amendments you want. This will take the money off the oligarchs. It will seize assets. It's only expanding on legislation that's already there.
Thank you, Deputy.
So please, will you help us and give time and work with us and have a conversation? This is not about party politics. Outside of this room, have a discussion so we can do this next week. I beg of you. It's really, really important. Thank you.
Could I just say that there haven't been differences with us in terms of funding with the European Union. I'll make that point very clearly. We are part of the European Peace Facility, which was originally established in particular to deal with the African continent and supporting military infrastructure in Africa. We have facilitated the application and deployment of the Peace Facility in relation to the Ukraine. In other words, to facilitate European member states to provide weapons and security infrastructure to the Ukraine. This shouldn't be an issue of division. We should be united in this House, and I don't think, but the interjections are not necessary. I just want to make the point, it's a very important point. That's not, the unity in terms of Ireland have been right up there in terms of supporting all measures to help the Ukrainian people now, today, last week and this week. In respect of the legislation, we facilitated the passage of that legislation without any opposition in second stage. You know that. And the Minister will engage with you in respect of the passage of that bill. But let's not make the bill let's not make the bill the centrepiece of where the Ukrainian people and what they need right now. We have, with our European Union colleagues, implemented unprecedented sanctions on the Russian economy. Please acknowledge that. That is a reality. Acknowledge that. And we've done that. And we're willing to do more, Deputy. Okay, and we're willing to engage with you in respect of that. Deputy. I dealt with that yesterday, fully transparently, in relation to that particular issue. And Ireland has not been found wanting in any area in respect of our response to the Ukraine. And I just want to say this. We are getting calls from deputies and senators across the House, legitimate calls, about helping Irish citizens in Ukraine and elsewhere. We're getting very legitimate calls that we're responding to. And we're working with people, okay? And I'm just simply saying, you know this, and on a better day and on a different day, you would agree with me, Deputy.
We're way over time,
and
please.
I regret to some extent the attempts to divide the House on this. And I think that's wrong. I just want to make... Well,
please,
that's what's going on.
Please. Deputies. Deputies, please.
To the bill. And,
please.
We're very unfair.
We are way over time. Excuse. We're way over time. I appreciate the vital importance of the issue under discussion, but we do have a schedule to try and adhere to. We're scheduled already to be here until 11:25, so we're adding to that time already.